Hi guys. When we were young, it was considered a taboo for any man to express their feelings. You were considered as weak if you cried. No one ever took the time to understand what men went through and how much that weighed us down. In this show today, we want to give every one of us a platform to talk about their issues without being judged, without being looked down upon. With me today in this show is a great man, a man of wisdom, a man who has great experience with issues related to marriage. Kindly help me welcome Jose Loltome into this show. Karibu ndugu.
First of all, thank you for having me in this show.
Yes.
It's a nice space to be. Jose Loltome is a man born in Marsabit, but ended up being in Eldoret as a home. So I've lived in Eldoret for quite some time.
That is great. One of the things you do at Z Graphics is you make marriages possible.
Exactly.
By creating artistic cards, yeah?
Yeah.
And in this show, we want to discuss issues to do with marriage. What would you say is your experience with this marriage thing?
Man, I take a sigh because marriage is, first of all, is a beautiful thing. It's created by God to be enjoyed by people. So for me, marriage is it's a space to enjoy. It's a space to feel beautiful. It's a space to feel handsome and to know you are responsible of a human being. And also when we bring out the children in it, so it becomes even more beautiful.
Yes.
But sometimes, it's not all the time that it's beauty. You will find yourself in hard moments where you'll find you're not in the same space in terms of thought, in terms of understanding, in terms of commitment. So it creates that friction. Better.
Yeah, allow me. When you say the person you married, after some time, when things start happening, you realize that this is not the person you married. What do you think brings about such things?
First of all, the change happens in both ways. Actually, it can happen to me as an individual. So I might not be the same person that the person expected me to be. So expectations. It's not getting married early that makes the marriage bitter or late. It's expectations. Because I expect you, man. If I meet you on the street and you're this sharp guy, and when I get to your house, everything is all over the place,
Having said that, I want to ask you a rather personal question.
Okay.
But before I do that, I want to know where you stand emotionally in this thing called love and relationship. And I want you to do this symbolically.
Okay.
Before you, we have two glasses.
Okay.
One of these glasses symbolizes that you have gone through an issue and you have healed. And the second glass will symbolize the heart that is still in you. You went through these issues, it hurt you, and you have not been able to forgive. So I just want you to show us where you stand emotionally.
For me, right now, I say I'm healed. Yes. So I'll pick this one.
Okay.
Wow. So it's so nice to test healing, man.
Boss, ume add weight.
Hey!
The first time I met you after whatever happened, I don't want to mention, I want you to be the one to mention this. I want to confess, I took a step back and looked at you twice just to confirm if it was you. And during this time, there are a couple of things I noticed about you. You had actually gone back and you took yourself away from the world.
Very true.
Yeah? You
Very
isolated yourself. I noticed you're doing a couple of activities. Your hair changed, your body changed. You started going out to swimming. You started going out to rafting. What influenced you to decide to do this thing?
I'll give you a story. interesting story. I volunteer with a cancer trust fund called Faraja that is in MTH. And people see me going there. Some people kept on asking me, "Are you sick? Do you have cancer? Do you have, what is going on with you?" Even some started saying that I'm going to pick ARVs, you know.
Yes.
Those are bitter words, you know, but
Yes.
you know exactly where you are. A friend of mine spoke to me. He told me when he was going through such kind of a moment, he had to decide to do something that is away from the pain.
Yeah, true.
So for me, I decided to learn how to swim. I went to swimming.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a 2019 resolution, and I resolved to learn how to swim. So it came the right time. So I started swimming. A friend of mine decided to teach me in May 2019. I started learning sign language. Now I can interpret sign language and speak to the deaf people. The same time, I met another pilot who gave me a very nice dream to know how to fly. So I started learning, studying on how to fly. So the activity is what took my mind away from the pain that I was going through.
On that point, just before you maybe open up and tell us what led to this, how were you able to handle judgment?
I'm this person. I'm very introverted in my part of my stories and life, and actually even in doing stuff. I know there are places where I went wrong. There are things I've done in my pain that were not, I cannot say they are pleasing. Those are the ones that are really, sometimes can really eat you up. But when somebody talks about it, you just brush it off. So I'm not there just for the moment to please the people. Actually, everyone will have something to speak about. And secondly, you say, how do you handle such kind of spaces? Because I'm a prominent person in Eldoret.
Yes.
I'm known by at least 60% of the population in Eldoret.
Yeah, that's true.
And coming to the place where somebody is seeing you differently. There was a place I reached and I said, everyone is talking. So what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to handle all this? I asked myself those questions. The answer that I got was, people will always talk.
What was the deal breaker in your marriage?
Oh, commitment, you know. If getting to a space where the commitment is not there, you're committed 101 to make sure that your marriage is working. This is just to bring up, you see, when you get to that space when you know, I'm married, there's nothing else. Yani, I'm married. I'm not going to this other person. There are so many other people here, but I chose you. That means it's commitment. Lack of communication, stuff to do with arrogance or somebody speaking bad to you or bringing something out that is not in you, or hearsay. Nilisikia mtu alisema alikuona na mtu fulani, and it happened that people that would work with me, they're either beautiful people. It's not in a place where I say I chose to bring beautiful ladies to my office. They are responsible. They came there with merit, and they had the rights to be there. You see, and my friends and the people that I also talk to sometimes are well-off people, you know. And then you meet, and people will always talk about that this guy tumemwona with a girl at Java or something. And then the other part about me is I've always empowered young people. And mostly I will find either men or women. And I don't understand why they never talk about the men who I work with. And then the worst part is when the other person now listens to what the people are saying. And you get home at 8 in the evening and somebody says you are late. Where were you? Prior to that, you send text messages, I'm at the office, I'll be a bit late. All the weekends, there's no, like, this is very interesting. I'll tell you this part. We go for business dinners.
Yes.
I rarely eat on those dinners. I go there, take maybe a soft drink or a juice, sit there, listen to the conversation. And the meeting will end maybe at 9:30 or 10 at night. Then I just go home and eat there. I never eat out unless I'm with my wife. No eating out.
All right. Allow me ask this question.
So I don't understand when somebody says you're committed to this. For me, I'll just say the deal breaker is commitment.
Allow me ask this question before we go to something else.
Yeah.
You say whenever you go to corporate dinners
yes.
or whatever invites you get, you don't eat there.
No, I
Is
don't.
it because their food is bad?
No.
Or it's because for a certain reason?
No. It's just that I'm committed to my home. You see, husbands must, and I should say this one, husband should eat their wife's food. They should not be cooking food at the house and they're not eating. It's one way to say, I love you. You know, to me, that's what I can say.
So basically what you're trying to tell me is external influence is what was
Exactly.
a deal breaker in your
Absolutely.
marriage.
Yeah.
And don't you think there was something that you and your then partner would have done otherwise to try and work things out?
Yeah.
And try and keep away this kind of intrusions into your marriage?
You see, I can keep the intrusion from my side,
Yes.
but I can't keep it from your side. If you cannot keep it on your own, I can't keep it. I can keep it I can say, I have heard something about you. And that's where truthfulness comes in marriage and openness. People should be open. If you can be naked together, that means you can be open together.
After all these things happened, do you think you had a part to play in your separation?
Definitely. By the time I am agreeing to have it go, I've played a bigger role in it. But the thing is this, when two people come together, there's so much there's so much grinding of our lives, because the way I do stuff is different from the way you do stuff. So we have to grind each other in a way to get to that level. We are smooth. In our generation, we have a perception about marriage that this person must do 1, 2, 3 things. We have a list
of expectations.
Yes, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
So we have that. So there are things maybe when I want to correct, no, you cannot correct me. This is me. And then there's this thing called #self-love.
Yes.
It can't work in marriage. It cannot. It has to be our love together. It's not ourselves. It's not me. Yeah. Like,
so blankly, what would you say was your greatest undoing?
maybe sometimes I'll be like a bit like, why are you telling me this stuff? I don't give a damn about whatever you're saying. I'm not listening to you, or I'm not hearing what you're saying. I'm listening, but I'm not hearing what you're saying. You have decided, because you are bitter with me, you will give me an elbow at night.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, I'll show you how to give you an elbow. So you might decide now, okay. And that's where we think about people bring infidelity into the marriage.
Yes.
Because now when the wife gives you or the husband gives you an elbow, there's someone who is giving you a hug.
Yes, and that was my next point. When you get married, you become one. It's almost like you're being given a license to have matrimonial sex and reproduce. Definitely. But when these issues start coming into your relationship, the communication breaks down, the love goes away, the respect is no longer there. It is not possible for a couple to enjoy sex in marriage.
Intimacy is...
it definitely disappears.
Yeah, it goes.
Now, how do you handle...
And you know, intimacy is not only sleeping in the same bed.
Yes.
Intimacy means you two together can have a conversation, like what we are having right now.
Yes.
And then discussing and being open with each other. But it reaches a space where things are not working, and you end up not even enjoying. I'll say this one. Men are loaded all the time. They are loaded guns.
Yes.
And the ladies are not... I might use this example.
Put it as you want.
moto ya makaa,
yes.
and then there is ile like just normal fire you
Yes.
put on grass and then
Na
just,
kuna ya gas. Yes. Sasa yako ilikuwa gani?
You see, now
Yes.
this is the place where some ladies feel men are a bit selfish because we know in and we are done. But now the lady will be feeling like, one, you're not even there, you're not even taking me to this place. Some of the conflict, I'm not talking about sometimes, I'm not giving us a personal experience, but some parts of what I've seen or I've had with people, you know, you're not satisfying, you're no longer satisfying your woman. But now, for me, there was a place where I blocked. You kept quiet on me? Okay, so I'll show you that I can keep quiet on you too. So, and the thing is, we have children. Now the conversation goes from me talking to
mama
her.
yako
No.
Yes.
I can tell you straight, you can do this or you can have this happening.
Yes.
But you can clearly say there's a big rift. There are people who have seen me with my children severally.
Yes,
Walking with them.
I have seen you with your children.
And that is maybe even on a weekend.
Yes.
So you ask him, where is the wife? Where is she? Why is he not with him? Well, you know, so you end up having the children closer and you realize the children just came because this person allowed you to be in their lives.
Have you ever cheated on your wife? And could this have been one of the reasons maybe why you guys decided to go separate ways?
I'm keeping quiet because it's a very straightforward question you asked. So, yeah, the first time, which is to me it happened once, and man, that experience was the weirdest and the most painful moment in my life. I can for sure say I felt I betrayed. And I had to come and say, you see, you sit down, it eats your bones. You completely eat your bones. And then you just need to now to come and speak to her and say, by the way, this is what I've done. I'm really sorry. These are my mistakes. This is what I've done. So we fought for a long time. We really fought for a long time, close to 3 or 4 years. 4 years. And then there's someone that's what I was telling you, when somebody's giving you an elbow, there's someone who's giving you a hug. And then you tend to think, this is the right thing for me to do. And then once you do it, it's the weirdest. And I can say, no one should go through that pain. If your consciousness is okay. If your consciousness is not okay, I think it is just normal for other people to do that.
Yeah, we have people who cheat and they don't give a damn.
Yeah, they don't give a damn about it. And I said from that day, I will never do it. And when I spoke to her, asked for forgiveness, she said, I forgive you. But it reached a place where she could not take it anymore.
All right. When we come back, we will be discussing on how you bounce back from the mistakes you've made in your relationship. We will be taking a break. Welcome back, folks. Just before we went on a break, we were talking about how do we bounce back from our past mistakes. And I like what you do with the guitar.
Yeah.
It is an interesting way of healing. You know, music is one of the things that is used in healing. And what you have been doing for us during the break is just amazing. Your fingers with the guitar is crazy. And I would say you didn't waste your time.
Yeah.
While you were going through what you went through.
I didn't.
So before we went on the break, I had asked you, how did you bounce back from that mistake?
Oh, man.
And just 2 questions. How did you bounce back? And how were you able to handle the backlash that comes with it?
First of all, it happened. This is actually the first time I'm talking about these things. But so it remained between me and her and where the person that these things happened. And we had to close it in a way that if it happened, it happened. So when now it happened that she couldn't take it anymore and decided to go, first of all, I am a believer, and I know says when you confess your sins to one another, God is faithful to forgive. Yeah. So for me, first of all, is getting forgiveness from the person. So if you tell me I'm forgiving you, I take that word as.
You have told us in this show that when you asked for forgiveness, she forgave you.
Yeah.
What made her decide to leave after forgiving you? Is it something you did again?
Not something that I did. It's not something that I did. I didn't do anything. It's people process things slowly. There are different people ways of processing stuff. So I either think it's a way of processing. And now, the stories that she was getting from other people now, they become so alive because you already know. Yeah, by the way, there's some fear here for me. So people kept on talking to her about these things, and she thought they were happening, but they were not.
But the things you did not convince her.
So what made me move on? It's because we are here, we can't stay in this space. I had to relinquish a lot of position for me so that I can take up a place where I know I'm not committing infidelity, I'm not adulterous, and I'm having someone in my life.
If today you met her with her new boyfriend or husband, what would be your reaction?
I believe she has to be happy too for me because of having someone in my life. So it brings out, I will say congratulations. First of all, there's this thing I told her once, that I want to see you happy. If it is with someone else, you have my blessing.
If today your wife came back and said, I am sorry, what would you do?
This is it's like you're already asking a question that has already been asked.
Yes.
Our experience was like, I told you we had fights for close to 3 to 4 years.
Yes.
And I've always been very optimistic and making sure the marriage works. I've done counseling for her, both of us. I've done for myself. We've had spiritual counselors, clinical counselors. There's a space where you reach, you feel like this thing is not working anymore.
Yeah. If today your ex-wife watched this show and she came out and said, the reason why she left you is because you were violent, what would you say?
Violent for what? What makes me violent? Nothing. I'm the coolest. I think I believe myself in this. One of the most understanding people that you can never have around. I really want to understand, and I'm a fighter. Being an entrepreneur person makes you to fight, and the best thing you can do is to fight for your family. So the fight I have is a good fight, not a bad one.
Not physical.
No.
When you in marriage and kids are involved and you're going through a divorce or a separation process, it is a difficult thing, isn't it?
It is.
How have you been able to go through this process?
My advice, if there are children involved, is please, the fight is between the two of you. The ones who started the marriage or starting the relationship. It's between the two of you. Please, let's make children be zero part of our fight. Let it not. Don't use your child to fight your husband. Don't use your child to fight your wife. Your children came as a blessing because of your intimate moment. And most of the time they are good moments, especially in marriage. You enjoyed it each moment, and then the children came. Let them remain a blessing. That's what the Bible says. The way you make them a blessing is making sure that your children know, by the way, Mamina Daddy, if they are of age, please let them know.
How do you co-parent
Uh,
in view of another party in the kids' lives?
Co-parents, mostly people think it is giving them the money.
Yes.
It's not. But if you're violent and you want to keep the child away from the father or away from the mother, I tell the party that is who is politer than the other one, please, for you to give your children peace, you can even stop fighting for that space. One day, those children will be 18 years old. They will have their own say, and they will decide whoever they want to be with.
How do you explain your absence in your
Obviously,
kids' lives?
It really affects. First of all, for me, I really love children, and
Yes.
I really love my children. And some people that know me, they've seen me with my daughters dancing, or with my son riding a bike, or doing stuff together. Now, when they are not there, it really affects you, and it really affects them, because they are not there to tell. They meet they meet the other person who is not totally different from you. So for me, it's a hard space.
You have gone through almost a similar thing I have gone through. I was in marriage that did not work, and kids were involved.
Yep.
It was so hard for me to separate
Your feelings
my feelings.
and the feelings you have for the children and the mother.
Yes, because at some point you realize that the relationship you had with the mother is somehow being used to manipulate you.
The law has one of the things I really want to, even to say to the people maybe who are doing the law in this country, that they have to write the law to the place where the father has a say, actually a bigger say. They can stay with the children, because you're told when you go to court, you asked, what can you do? How can you? They have to ask you, do you have anyone who can stay with the children at home? But the mother can never be asked those kind of questions.
Why? Is it because
The question is the law. It's the law of the
think the
land.
mother is superior to the man, or
No,
what?
not even like that. They don't understand that people are different.
Yeah.
And they can handle their children. The men who have grown with their children. And for me, I can say for sure, there are places when I want to stay with my children. But because of my busy schedule, I cannot stay with them all the time. But they can be taken care of. You see, I can hire someone to take care of them and stay with them. But in a space where the man is not even working, there are men who are not working. They are already made their income, their money is through a process, they can take care of them. They must be listened. Both sides must be listened equally, with no prejudice. Like you go to the departments where the children department are, you go there as a man. There was an experience, I'll tell you this one. I went to, my babies were not feeling well, so I had to go. I called the mother too. She was not picking up the calls. And I went to the home, they locked me out. So I couldn't get to see the children. I went to the children's department to say, I want to see my children. Do you know the lady who was sitting on the reception actually literally laughed? Like, man, you are a man. You should be fighting for your children. You should go pick them by force. And when I pick them by force, they are an assault. I'll be arrested.
Yes.
So it doesn't bring out the best in most of the time, especially when we're fighting for our children. I really want to see my children grow. I want really to see my daughter. When we have conversations with my daughter, she says she wants to be a leader. She wants to learn 1, 2, 3 stuff. You know, and most of the time, fathers, as we bring out our daughters, they learn how to handle marriages, because the way we talk to them and the way we handle them.
And the way you treat
Yes,
them.
the way you treat their mom.
Yeah.
And the sons sometimes will want to treat women the way their mother treats. They want a woman who looks like their mom. So I don't know, with the number of cases that we have right now in the country, in terms of children
Being raised
by single mamas or single fathers and all that, it's really hard. And it's one of the things that I don't wish for anyone to go through. It is one of the things I don't wish. I never thought, Alton, and I'll tell you, I never thought one day I'll be far away from my babies.
My director is telling me our time is out. What would be your parting shot?
Oh, my parting shot is marriage is a beautiful thing. It's something, not something. It's a life to prove that God created us for a purpose. And some people think marriage is not a purpose to live for. It's only in marriage that we create humans. As much as people do nowadays, they just, you have to be together for you to create a child. So, beautiful things. Marriage is a beautiful thing. So, 3 things. Be committed to your partner or your spouse. Committed. If you're not committed, please just walk out and leave. If there's no child in between the two of you, if you feel like you're not committed, please just leave. There is nothing like staying in that space just to hurt someone. It doesn't add you anything. It just adds injuries to yourself. Okay? Love genuinely. Don't love because Alto has a big car or has a big house or is coming from a rich family. Love someone genuinely. Love their character. Get to know them. What is their likes? What is not their likes? You know. The last one. Be consistent. If you decide today, mimi nimeamua, I'll be called Mr. So and so for this person. Be consistent. Consistent. Remove other small foxes that comes and dig your home. And there's something you told me. Well, we had just a discussion, I think a day ago, earlier. Infidelity is not remarrying.
Yes.
Infidelity is having someone aside, side dish or something, because you think it is easier for you, and you're still in marriage. Please, by the time you go out, you're already fallen out of love with other person. So why are you still with them? You're hurting your family, you're hurting your wife, you're hurting your children. So I'll call upon us to be people of character.
If you have any message you want to send out to your former wife, mother of your kids, if you have any, if you don't, then that is fine. But if you have any message you want to tell her, then this would be the opportunity.
Mimi nimesha kuforgive kitambo. I don't hold you ransom. Those babies that we have need to grow in a family, whether we are together or apart. So the space is the children must enjoy the life of having the two of us. And they wouldn't have made without the two of us. So just that. And I would like to give a special thanks to a few people who really helped me in this journey.
Please do.
Really, really helped me. There's a friend called Enos. He's a clinical counselor, psychologist. He's walked with me all through. There's Reverend Kibi, also a psychologist and a pastor. And now I have my current counselor who speaks to me all the time. You know, we are just close to each other and we talk together. He's called Pastor Julius Akenga. And I really appreciate that man. He's really held my hand. And he's always speaking good things and helping me to grow and to be a better man. Yeah. Thank you, guys. And thank you for hosting me here.
Yeah, just before you say that, you said one of the things you did to fight depression was sign language.
Yes.
Are you able to just in the sign language just tell us how you say I have forgiven you or I forgive you?
Oh, now forgive I can't say in the sign. This is sign language.
Yeah.
So forgive should be FORGIVEN.
And you?
So forgiven. So now I don't have the sign name for it. So just say of you. So that's forgiven you. So, yeah, thank you.
After telling us what you have told us, it takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of boldness to come out and speak about what you have gone through. How are you feeling now?
I feel very nice. By the way, I feel healed. I know I'm healed. So right now, you ask me what I'm feeling. I'm feeling nice.
Uh-huh.
I'm at peace with myself. You know, yes.
So do you still want to hold on the mango juice?
Yeah, definitely. That's the best thing to do. This is the best thing meant to do, actually, and it is so sweet. Healing is sweet. So for those of you who are still going through the same, you are still hurting. Just give yourself time. You'll come here.
All right, there you have it from the man, Jesus himself, a man who has gone through his share of troubles in marriage, and he has worked his way through that marriage that was full of turmoil, and now he sits here today, a rejuvenated man, a peaceful man, a man with a lot of joy, and going on his life like nothing happened. I saw this man when he was down and beaten. And today I am happy to say that I sit and share with a man who has overcome so many things in his life. Until next time, this is your host, Alton Njumba, and this is Bittersweet Love Talk Show. Nafaa unifundishe kucheza gitaa.